in his stand out behind his house, and he shot at a deer and he wanted to see if he actually hit it. So he was getting down real quick, had the gun over his sling over his arm, and he missed a step, and the gun come around, hit him between the eyes. True story, right?
That's a true story.
These are all true. Okay. Chapter 4. Okay. Now, Al takes me, and I don't know where we were at. We were somewhere around Central Lakes or Field or what. But we come along a trail, there's some blood. He said, let's follow this deer. There's no boot tracks on it. We go and we keep getting in, and our feet are getting wet. It's over our boots. We keep going and going around. Pretty soon loses the track. We go around and around. I said, Al, you know where you're at? Yeah. I said, it's funny because we're right back on the same trail. We've been by that tree 3 times. He and Daniel Boone, he'd never been lost, but he got bewildered. Daniel Boone said 3 days, that's about 2 hours. Okay, I'm trying to keep this quick, Mark.
Yeah, I understand. There's a lot of material. I understand.
Okay, yeah. Oh,
We're running out of time.
Order the book. Now, this one, Roger and I we just rehashed this one. We were up to Belding, and Roger made some deer hunter's chili. Don't ever eat it. Don't ever eat it. Well, he also had blue toilet paper. So the next day,
Mark, you're laughing.
We're going out, and I'm going to see if I can find out, you know. So I know about where he's hunting. I start over that way, and here's blue toilet paper. But I kind of went upwind from it. And then went a little farther, more blue toilet paper. Keep going. Pretty soon, here's Al. And when I see him, he's got his belt, and he's got leaves, and he's wiping his belt off. I'm like, true story. Now, I've always kind of wondered, been puzzled to me. I know for a fact 2 deer, maybe more, that's had at least 2 legs shot off before he can dispatch the deer. And I've always wondered, is he that good a shot, or does he get buck feet? I haven't figured that out yet. I've shot a lot of deer, and I've never been able to do it. So, okay, last but least, this is only 7 chapters out of 40. So, this one was hilarious. I'm on up to Rogers again, what we call the old crooked tree. I was over there. I hear a gunshot. That's right where Al's at. Here Al comes. He said, I got my deer. He said, I don't see any blood on your hands. We got to find it. I was known as the trapper. And I said, okay. So we go over and I said, are you sure you hit it? Yeah, I'm sure. I said, how sure? Well, he had his dad's old wool hunting coat on. He reaches back in the game bag and he pulls out the whole tail. Roger just told me that these are whitetail that we hunt, okay? But he said they have a whole new strain up there building areas. They're tailless deer. Anyway, now the rest of these stories in here, I'm not going to give this book to you. I'm going to give this to Jerry. Because this is a great reading, okay? Al, this is accumulation of over 50 years.
Maybe it's not exaggerated. Do not eat my Uncle Roger's buck hunter's chili. All right, Uncle Roger,
You're up.
let's keep it clean. Remember, we have children in here.
Mine was mild.
If I remember correctly, in the genetics in Al's family, the deer kill passes down generation to generation.
I wouldn't know.
So I came up with things that I wanted to share with you. The fun of growing up in our household, and with Al being the oldest. And I want you to go way back and remember when that you were 4.5 years older than me. And anybody that's got an older brother knows the look in their eye when you should be terrorized and leave. And I got to be very good at that between 4 and 5 years old, because he would get the look in his eye and I would take off running and I could hear these steps behind me. And just as he got to the point where he could reach me, I would drop to the ground. And he would go over the top of me, and I would be up and going the other way looking for our parents. And he would get close again, and I would drop to the ground, and I had to keep trying to work my way around the corner of the house for safety. And a lot of times it didn't work.
So what caused that in the beginning?
Because I was slow. Well, when he caught
You
me,
never said what you did.
I was innocent. When he caught me, the game was, okay, let's sit on Roger's chest. Let's put our knees in his biceps and pin him to the ground, and then let's slowly spit into his face. And just as it gets there, let's suck it back up and do it all. Deny that. The fun I used to have with you just brings tears to my eyes.
I think your time is up.
Do you remember the 6-foot blue racer that we had up in the hedgerow? Just outside the driveway? Al and the older boys took Bill Kay's, Jimmy Sumner's, and myself, the 3 youngest. Now this blue racer's about 6 feet long and fast. And the older boy says, okay, we're going to get him going down through the hedgerow, and you 3 young guys get down there, and when he comes by, you catch him. We'll chase him, you catch him. And we're, okay. And that thing went by me, and I mean, he was fast. And neither Bill nor Jimmy and I reached for him ever. And every time we got done, where'd he go? He went that way. And every time we got done and started walking back down the road, we looked back, and here comes the blue racer after us. You remember that? He would chase us the other way until we turned around and he would go back. Fond memory. Just a great memory.
He was only 3 foot long.
He was fast. That's coming. The 3-footer's coming. One of my greatest, fondest memories of things that happened to Al that I absolutely love involved our dear sister Sherry. And we had a snowstorm that was as heavy and wet as you possibly could get, and you could pack the snow into ice balls. They were just like baseballs. Look at him. Mom had cut the old cardboard milk cartons, cut the side out, put bird seed in for the birds. So we're standing up in the yard and we're throwing snowballs at these things. We're not hitting them. Sherry came up to the dining room window, and she's in there going like this or something, you know, and laughing at us. And Al, as a joke, thinking that the snowball is one of those powder puff snowballs, whips it at Sherry. Sherry ducks. It goes through the storm window. It goes through the regular window. It goes across the dining room. It hits the china cupboard window and smashes into the glass plates. Now I have tears in my eyes because I am laughing so hard. Sherry smartly ducked and got out of the way, and the next thing you see in the hole in the glass is our mother's. And Roger being the intelligent one, and she's looking like, okay, who did it? And I'm sitting there going,
Thanks a lot.
anything for the spit.
Right.
For you. Remember when we were going to drag Dad through the mud puddle? Every Saturday before we could leave, we'd have Saturday off, and we had to sweep the garage out. before we could go anyplace.
Well, that was only on rainy Saturdays.
Yeah, well, but if we were gonna go play or had the day off, we had to sweep the garage up. Well, the big joke in the family was we were going to drink Dad through the mud puddle because he was gonna do that to his father and it never worked. And all I remember is we were out in the yard, beautiful day. We'd had a rain a couple days before and we had mud puddles. And we went for Dad, we'd had enough. And Al hit the ground. I landed on top of Al. Now our dad's 5'7", 5'8". And Dad's sitting on top of both of us, pinching our cheeks, saying, when you get a little bit older, come back and try it again. And he got off of us and went in the house, and we're sitting there. Now, I'm like 14, 15, he's like 19. And we're sitting there, we're looking at each other like, how did that just happen? He was unbelievably strong. Now, my brother and I had 2 serious fights in our lifetime. And it was during our teenage years. And the reason we had 2 serious fights in our lifetime is because we didn't want a third one. It hurt. Now, I forgot all about this. My last story is the 3-foot blue racer. They were staying, Linda, Al, Mark, and Michelle, kids are little, over at Ferris Pearson's house, over in, I can't remember the road.
690. Oh, no, 687.
And Kay, where are you? There she is. Kay and I at one time had dated in college, and she was down that summer. And we're standing in the kitchen talking to Linda. Al was asleep on the couch. Saturday afternoon, we got the day off. The only thing he has on is his Bermuda shorts. It's hot. The kids are taking a nap. Kay looks down.
I was carrying her.
Oh, you were carrying her?
I was carrying. Thank you for not
Okay.
helping me.
But Kay looks down, and a blue racer comes up underneath the screen door, and you went down several steps, platform, down several steps to the basement. Kay climbed up over me, obviously with Michelle in her arms, up one side, down the other, and pushes Linda out of the way and says, "Snake." And I look down, and this snake, about yay long, goes up, looks at us, decides he's going into the basement. So Linda runs in, wakes Al up out of a dead sleep, and says, "There's a snake in the house." Now he says, "There ain't no way." Kay says, "There is too." So we go down in the basement and we see the tail go underneath this huge horizontal freezer sitting in the middle of the floor to be repaired. So the genius says, "Okay, you get the ball bat, I'll get the 2x4, and I'll get on my hands and knees, and I'll poke him out, and then you beat his brains out." Now, the girls are standing over by the door, ready to fly up the stairs. And Al's, here's the freezer, I'm here, Al's on his hands and knees, I've got the ball bat, and I look over, he's on his hands and knees, and I'm and I took the ball bat. I like to call this story how Al learned to levitate like a cat, and I almost died. Have you ever seen a cat jump when you move your feet real quick when they're going by, and you never see a muscle move when they're up in the air? When I goosed him, up that high in the air, come down with a 2x4 in a full swing position, and luckily I was on the other side of the freezer and had the ball bat to protect myself, or he would have killed me.
Your time is up.
And one of my fond memories of growing up with you. And we did get the snake though.
Yeah, we did.
And he got down on his hands and knees again,
Yeah,
but I had to be clear over and up against the wall when he came out. Love you, bro.
Make sure I got my speech folder here.
Oh, no, I don't.
You have
You know,
defiled.
there's plenty of Spartans in the room.
Roger's a hard act to follow. This is all truthful and very nice.
I know you are. And I expect you to stay that way.
Mine's actually some comments of thankfulness. Thanks, Dad, for teaching me how to be generous. When Mark and I were newly married, Dad was eager for grandkids. So he said he'd give us $100,000 if we had 4 grandkids. Well, Mark and I delivered. And you know what he gave us?
Actually, only Laura delivered.
That's true. I should have got bonus pay, but anyway. He gave us a rubber check for $100,000. You still owe us $100,000.
It's a will.
So thanks for being so generous. We appreciate that. Thanks, Dad, for teaching me how to share. Have you ever eaten with this man? So as soon as you look away, he gets his big extendo fork. Have you guys seen that? And he starts eating at your plate, or he just goes in with his grubby little fingers and starts.
Mother.
So don't ever look away, but thanks for teaching me how to share. Dovetailing on sharing, thanks, Dad, for teaching me proper manners at the table. No sooner do I sit down than this man starts shouting out his commands. I need more ice. Where's the tea? I need a toothpick. Is there any more butter? What's for dessert? Thanks, Dad, for teaching me about patience. Whether it's his birthday, Father's Day, or Christmas, his presents become the focal point of his thinking. When are we going to open presents? He asks before dinner, during dinner, after dinner.
When he arrives.
Yeah, when he arrives. Over and over again until he gets his way. Thanks, Dad, for teaching me how to tell a joke. Usually it involves mixing in the punchline while telling it, or forgetting the punchline altogether, and all just left hanging there and not knowing what's going to happen. Thanks, Dad, for teaching me how to take responsibility for my actions. Whenever Mark or Michelle do something a little naughty, he can often be heard saying, you guys all know this from the little game you played, your mom sure did a bad job raising you. So, way to take responsibility there, that's good. And thanks, Dad, for teaching me about honesty and humility. It reminds me of last year's hunting story. Thanksgiving dinner had to wait because he had to take the entire family back into the woods to the very tree stand where he shot his trophy buck. Apparently, it was a 29.5-foot or 29.5 point buck that he shot in a single shot, and from about 600 yards away, dressed out at 250 pounds, something like that. By the way, have you noticed there's a direct correlation between how much his arm twitches and how truthful his story is? In all seriousness, Dad, you have taught me a lot. You've taught me how to love family through thick and thin. You've modeled faithful service to God and your church family. You've demonstrated your continued trust in God and His goodness through suffering and loss. Thanks, Dad. I love you.
Okay, we've got some extended family going to speak here, Dad.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Dorn.
As if you know me, I can be long-winded. I've got the gift of gab, thanks, Mom. So anyway.
Sorry, that's just funny because Danny said that
If I
yesterday.
start talking, usually I end up on a squirrel trail. Like, there's a squirrel, there's a squirrel. So, I wrote it down. And if I happen to get a little teary-eyed, I will read it. So before I start though, there's a couple disclaimers. This is my story, so I hold all of the creative rights to it. And as a creative person, I really don't like the word exaggerate. I prefer enhance. So some of these stories have enhancements in them. So with that said, how many of you, well, there's not many here, that actually were raised in our church? So I'll say this anyway, because a lot of it is kind of, well, I've heard it a lot. So it goes like this. If you don't sit down and be quiet and behave, I'm going to go get Mr. Anthony. Now, imagine that, okay, with no warning, okay? We're sitting in Sunday school class. I'm sitting there minding my own business. That's an enhancement, okay? Talking to some friends, maybe a little louder than I should, passing notes, you know, and maybe annoying the girl next to me because, heaven forbid, my friends find out that I actually like her. So, so anyway, here I am yapping to somebody, and all of a sudden the room just gets deathly quiet. I'm in silence, and I'm still talking. So it finally dawned on me what's going on, and I turn, and there's Mr. Anthony, standing in the doorway.
You're a slow learner.
Now, can you believe, after all of that, that he actually paid my twin brother, myself, a bunch of friends, and Mark to mess around in his orchard? He did. That's true. That is a true story. And
They're supposed to be working.
and it gets better, because he actually took Kimber, Keith, and I to Disney World.
One of the
I
best
mean,
ones ever.
okay, so now this is my story. This is how I perceive it. We're on our road to Florida, and we stopped at one of, I don't know if it was Al or Linda's relatives, and we stopped. I don't know if it was overnight or not, but I remember stopping. Okay, and all of us kids were out in the back, and we were playing. We were throwing football around, maybe a frisbee, probably a frisbee, and we're goofing around. We're tossing this frisbee around, and you remember Al from the previous story I just said? Well, he shows up. Only this time, he's wearing, you know, the button shirt, short sleeve shirt, the plaid shorts, the white tennis shoes, and the black socks. So anyway, you know how when you throw a frisbee, sometimes they just kind of keep going and going and going? Well, I don't know who threw the frisbee, but they threw it, and it was going, and Al is just taking off after this frisbee, running like crazy. I've never seen him run so fast. And I don't know what happened, but I think a blade of grass grabbed his shoelace, and down he went. And he popped right back up like nothing happened. And, you know, except for the grass stain on his knees, in his elbows, and the dirt in his face. But there are a lot of stories with enhancements that I could share you with. But this one's from the heart. So, growing up in the church and with our family, Dad dying so young, Al stepped in, and I honestly believe that without his influence, the church and myself would not be who we are today. Amen. Al?
Aren't you glad you don't have to follow Kevin, all right? So the only way we can possibly top that is we're going to shift to Alan's grandkids. Alan's grandkids, come on down.
Together, the grand finale.
Make sure you speak to the microphone.
Okay. Hello, my name's Linda. His other favorite Linda. So I'm going to share some of my favorite memories that didn't happen with my grandpa. First off, when he finally let me go hunting with him after I begged him enough to go. And then seeing a 10-point buck and Grandpa letting me shoot it without any hesitation. Laughing at all of his jokes. Number 4, cheering for Michigan at a Michigan versus Michigan State game. When he let me go in front of him in a buffet line. When he let me open his birthday presents. When he letting me get through a story without interrupting me. And always getting the punchline right in his jokes. No, but Grandpa's actually, like following what Kevin just said, is just an amazing example to our family and to everyone around him. And he lives out his faith. One might say he has produced good fruit. But actually, he has produced, all of you here, you have all experienced the fruit of Grandpa's life. I've never said that before. And we're just so thankful for his continuous encouragement and support. It's just been so much fun growing up with Grandpa being at every event, always being so excited for us, and that pumps us up too. And even as a granddaughter becoming a Wolverine, he's still supporting me with a smile. And thank you, and thank you for being Jesus to all of us. And I love you.
I love you.
To start off my roast, I'm gonna share a few theories I have about Grandpa. I think the reason Grandpa keeps buying so many guns is because he believes the gun is the reason he's not getting more deer. I think the reason Grandpa tells so many jokes is because he thinks they're funny. The reason Grandpa likes hunting so much is because he can take more naps without being disturbed. At least that would explain why the deer stands now have carpet, blankets, pillows, and a king-size bed in them. As for my next theory, I think the reason Grandpa drinks very bitter, unsweetened tea is because he hopes instead of growing hair on his chest, it'll grow on his head. Honestly, I think the reason we all turned out so well is because we didn't listen to any of his advice. My next section is called How to Find Grandpa in a Crowded Room. You can find him because you'll be able to hear him try and convince someone to take over his farm. If you see someone wearing a Michigan State hat, you know it's him because he wears that hat all the time. It's a dual-purpose accessory. It shows his loyalty to the state while hiding his bald spot. You'll see him having a conversation with someone inches away from their face because he does not either notice or care about personal space. You can hear him tell everyone in the room about the deer he shot the other day because that only happens once every 10 years. As far as playing, 9 out of 10 times he'll be the one yelling at the TV as if the players can hear him. And if you see one of Grandma's homemade pies on the counter with a bite missing from it, you'll know he's nearby. Now that I'm done roasting, I'd like to end on a nice note. Thank you, Grandpa, for all the joy, love, and laughter you bring to this family, and thank you for being such a huge role model to me. You make family such a big priority in your life, and the stories you share hold a lot of wisdom and truth. It's inspiring how eager you are to share your faith and the love you have for Jesus, our Lord and Savior. Thank you, and happy 75th.
Now I like to pick on my grandpa a lot, so today I decided to go with the nice route for him. So here we are.
Alan versus Alan?
Well, a lot of you might laugh or joke about me having the same name as my grandpa. I think it's both a great honor and a great privilege to be named after him. He's been a strong role model for me in my whole life and continues to be one. Between the countless hours spent with him in the woods hunting, to the many hours spent being ordered around his farm, he has shaped me into the man that I am today, more than I think he realizes. Although he has many corny jokes and even more roughly told stories, I'm always quick to listen to him because he has a lifetime worth of advice and wisdom for me. And finally, after this past hunting season, I see where I get my shooting skills from. I was beginning to wonder a little bit. I love you, Grandpa. Happy Sunday.
Alan is 3 for 3. He's got 3 deer and 3 shots. That is not like most Anthony men. Oh, you gotta
And now for your enjoyment, a skit about Grandpa Anthony.
Ring, ring.
Hello, Cole.
Oh, hey, Susan.
What's up? What's the call?
I just wanted to ask you a couple questions, before I meet your family for the first time.
Oh, okay. You want to know anything specific?
Is there anybody, I should watch out for? Or...
I can't really think of anyone, but maybe my grandpa.
Oh, okay. What's he like?
Oh, there's just a few things that I would just maybe warn you about, but if you ever spend the night at my grandpa's, he may wake you up by turning all the lights on in your room and ripping your covers off and yelling, "Daylight in the swamp, swamp creature!" Then continuing to do that until there is movement from the room. So that's just a heads up there. Also, I would suggest maybe not sitting near him during mealtime. Your plate is kind of a zone of, well, he just used it as his plate too. He might lick his finger and stick it anywhere when he wants to taste, and or it might be a dessert. And I wouldn't get between him and the last piece of apple pie. That's pretty much a death sentence there. Let's see, maybe. Oh, we like to play a lot of games in our family, and again, I would avoid sitting near my grandpa as he will do anything at all costs to win the game. He's known to kind of cheat. He'll look at your hand, and basically you just never know about games. So that's just another thing. Man, what else is there? On birthdays, if it is your birthday we are celebrating, again, sitting next to him is dangerous. The presents, it just is, he will take your money. He will take your money. Yes. Your presents somehow become his presents, and so that's that. But
is there anything else I need to know?
Let's see, maybe the most important thing would be his obsession with hunting and guns. Oh, I don't know. The possibility of him greeting you at the door with a shotgun is very high. Don't be alarmed if that happens. So, if he asks you to go hunting with him, I don't know if he'll meat hunting. I don't know. It's your call if you feel safe to go out there with him. But that's pretty much him in a nutshell.
Okay. Wow. Susan, I don't know how to ask you this, but has your grandpa ever been tested to see?
Tested listen, I don't know what you mean.
You
Can you
like
clarify?
stable.
Oh, no, my grandpa's normal. Yeah, normal by Anthony standards. Yeah. Oh, what is Anthony? Oh, you'll know when you meet us.
Okay. So I just have one more question then.
Yes, Cole?
If this is what your grandpa's like, what is your dad like?
Yes, to wrap it up. I've been very, very blessed to have a grandpa like you, and have learned a lot about leadership, have learned a lot of life wisdom from you, how to have compassion on so many, and helping, this community around you, how you've invested into it, how your testimony that you've shared with all of us at such a young age has just demonstrated, Christ to us in ways that have shaped our lives and have shaped our walk with the Lord. And that to me is the greatest inheritance that you could ever get. So your life and your example to us of living out your walk with Christ has been instrumental to me in my life, and I am very thankful, and I love you, and yes, happy birthday.
Okay, not everybody is happy that Alan is getting a dinner tonight. We do have one individual that I had to give the podium to. Scott, why don't you come on down and file your protest?
Before I make my protest, kids, I'm surprised. Come on with all your phones and everything. And I just have to make an official declaration here on behalf of Al. I did finally find the song that you said you wrote for Bo, your buddy Bo. Your favorite song. Oh, you don't like Michigan?
Who invited you?
Right here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Scott Parmenter, Al and Grace's son. My wife Angie there. And I've known Al for a very long time, since 1966, something like that.
Close enough.
You and Methuselah never looked so good. Alan, James, Anthony. Al, you got a dinner. Why, oh why are we having a dinner for Alan Anthony? Some of the greatest people in history have never got a dinner. And it was barbecue too. It wasn't apple pie, I could not imagine. I'm talking major important people from the beginning of time to today have never gotten a dinner, and I'm going to share just a few of them with you. Adam, who said to our Lord in the Garden of Eden, I got more ribs, you got more broads. Never got a dinner. I didn't write this. But I'm saying it. I should be looking this way. Eve, who said to Adam, does this fig leaf make me look fat? Never got a dinner. Noah's wife, why is it always women in these examples? Who said to him, after 40 days and 40 nights, it's your turn to spread the papers on the floor. Never got a dinner. Moses, who said to the Israelites, stop calling me Charlton. Never got a dinner. Yeah, okay, we're good, we can move on. King Solomon, who said to his 1,000 wives, who needs to stop and ask for directions? Never got a dinner. I've got the unedited answer to that one up here if you want to see it later. Simon Peter, who embarrassed the other disciples at the Last Supper by asking for seconds, never got a dinner. And if the Bible wasn't enough, here's some history examples. William Tell's son, Telly, who said as his father pointed a bow and arrow at the apple on his head, there's got to be a better way to kill worms. Never got a dinner. George Washington, who said to his father, Dad, if I never tell a lie, how am I ever going to become president? Never got a dinner. Who'd you vote for? Never mind. Never got a dinner. Old McDonald's, who had a farm and said, I hear an oink here, I hear an oink there, everywhere an oink oink, until his wife said, finally, you need to get your hearing checked. Never got a dinner. Orville Wright said to his brother Wilbur, you were only in the air for 12 seconds. How could my luggage be in Cleveland? Henry Ford. You remember Henry Ford? Right. Despite his immense wealth, never owned a Cadillac. He never got a dinner. Oh. Ray Charles, who said to Stevie Wonder, I don't know, maybe we're white. Never got a dinner. Okay, all right. George W. Bush, who said to Pope John Paul II, give us a visit and bring the missus. Never got a dinner. Oh, Donald Trump's mother, who said, Donnie, stop playing Monopoly and get in that barber's chair. Never got a dinner. So, Al, Mr. Anthony, that's all I have about people that never got a dinner. So thank you for having a birthday so I could get a dinner and enjoy a wonderful night and hear some interesting stories. I just have a couple. One's kind of funny, and I was thinking of this as I was sitting down. Prayer meeting was either, I think it was Wednesday nights. It used to be in the basement. Is that correct? Right. So they didn't have nursery for kids. And they'd make us kids go play in the nursery, which is at the back of the basement, okay? And in that nursery was a closet, a janitor's closet. And they kept stuff in there like, paintbrushes and turpentine. So I was back in there, I believe I was with Michelle, and she may not remember this. So we're back in there, and the parents are having prayer meeting, and we were in there, we opened the closet, and we discovered the turpentine and the paintbrush, so we started painting the wall, and I flicked it, and I think I got her in the eye, and next thing I know, they're screaming, and parents were running into the room, and that never happened again. I never got to play by ourselves in the nursery during prayer meeting. I don't know what you did, you probably didn't have prayer meeting anymore. So. I remember if we wanted to have if we were going to have a good time, the family that was fun to have come visit us at the lake, or the couple was Alan and Linda Anthony, because I would hear my parents laughing for hours in the other room at the jokes that were being said. And later on, Al told me what the secret to jokes were with my dad. And if you didn't know my dad, here's what Al told me how jokes were rated. This Al told me how jokes were rated. Good jokes, bad jokes, and Al Parmenter jokes. So, after tonight, when I hear you can't even get the punchline, you're all right. No, so I thank you for that. Lastly, 2 words, and I can think of many words as we label people's characters. 2 words for Al Anthony from me is integrity and honesty. Those 2 are fixed in my mind as growing up as a young person in church, where we have influence, or people have influence on others. Al had great influence on my life. And because of him, like you may say, some of you, he shaped me in certain ways as I watched him lead in this church as a believer in Jesus Christ. So thank you, my brother.
All right, we're down to 3. Jerry. Come on up. Jerry, Michelle, and myself. Now, fine. That's all that's between you and cake, is us 3.
Honey. Come a little closer. Okay, just trying to get him a little closer here. I think it was said tonight that Al had trouble getting deer. Well, not this deer.
One for me.
I think you're wise in life when you understand what you're good at, what you're not. And so when Mark and Michelle said to me,
you need something to roast Al with, I thought, oh man, I married into a family of wit, and I enjoy their wit, but I think this is going to take a little serious turn here. So just to say this, we all have our five senses, at least most of us still do. But without the sixth, it's really not a complete life. And so the sixth one is a sense of humor. And that just has meant a lot for me in our marriage.
Wait now, Gary, you're on top.
Okay, now I'm going to turn it. So Albert Einstein said, try not to become a man of success. Rather, become a man of value. All of us here today would affirm you are a man of great value. Alan, you enjoy the trust of your family. No matter what they said, you have it.
I haven't heard the last two.
You also have the respect of others, and you have the love of children. You have an appreciation of Earth's beauty and a rich gratitude for your Creator and your Savior. You seek to leave the world a better place than you found it. Whether an improved apple orchard, reducing the gopher population, or rescuing a lost soul, you are there for it. You see and you find the best in others, and you also give us your best. Honey, you are an inspiration. I see the image of God in this man. Every day I see his faith. I see his work ethic. You don't know how much he was doing this morning for this party tonight. I wore him out. I see your commitment, your faithfulness, and I see your fun. And I love you very much.
Might have to read my notes. My one eye doesn't work so well. Thanks, Scott. I was reminded when Kevin was talking about being paid to hang out in the orchard. Maybe it was working, maybe it wasn't. Most of the kids that we went to church with here worked at some point on the farm. And I have a great story about when Brett did the cherry harvest one year, Brett Wellsworth. I was in college, and the day of cherry harvesting was done, and my dad said, "Can you run Brett home?" I said, "Sure." So he stuffed himself into my little hatchback car, and I could tell he was exhausted. It was one of those, 88 degrees in the shade, humid days in the cherry orchard. And I said, Brett, the good news is, no matter how hard any job is that you have in your life, you'll think back, well, it's at least not as hard as pulling canvas for cherry harvest. And he said, oh good, I'll let my dad know that. So, there's my dad. He's mellowed a little bit with age, but I'm going to test it out. A couple people in the family have touched upon a genetic factor we have. I think we call it the Dorothy gene. Grandma Dorothy, Dad's mom. When you want to just try somebody else's food, you just want to taste, just a bite. That's the Dorothy gene, and he has it. He has a full dose of it. So I would say, how many here have ever been annoyed by my father? I mean, he probably told you the truth. He told you the truth, he told you like it was, and it was annoying.
And then later when you realized he was right, it was even more annoying. Or I might just be projecting my teenage experience. And I've had 2 jobs my whole life. One is to annoy and pester my father, and the other is to make him laugh. And sometimes making him laugh takes a little more work, but it's worth it. I know I'm succeeding when the mustache starts to twitch a little bit. And then he tells me I'm not funny. And that my mother didn't raise me right. So, I would say that my dad's done a good job of setting an example for me of someone who acts upon the courage of his convictions and trying to do what's right in the eyes of the Lord. That tends to go right out the window where food is concerned because of the Dorothy gene. So, when I was in high school, you were in college, so you weren't there. Uncle Roger was in town, and Mom, Dad, Roger, and I went to a nice restaurant in St. Joe for dinner. And I once thoroughly enraged my father at a dinner with the 4 of us from the other end of the table at a restaurant because I planned my meal based on dessert and worked back from there. There was Mississippi mud pie on the menu, and I was like, I'm going to get some Mississippi mud pie. So a piece of pie was delivered. I took the first bite, and from the other end of the table, I hear somebody say, send that down here, I need to try a bite. I ignored the request. I heard it again about a second later, a little more insistent. Send it down here, please, I'd like to try a bite. I ignored him again. I heard a third, definitely insistent request that probably included a few more words. And then I finally said, oh, are you talking to me, Dad? This pie is so good I couldn't even hear you. Now, at that point, Big Al had a dilemma because he was annoyed at being stonewalled, but he was especially annoyed because his brother was laughing at him going, what are you going to do now, Dorothy? What are you going to do now? And my mom said, Alan, it's her dessert. Maybe you should have ordered a piece of pie too if you want some. But I only want 1 bite. So this went on while I continued to enjoy my piece of pie, and there was 1 bite left, and I finally set the plate down to the end of the table, and he was actually happy. He had to give up being annoyed because now he had a piece of pie. 35 years later, and that story's still funny to me. I will say a couple other things I've learned from my father. You talked about the 5 senses, Jerry, and the 6th one, the sense of humor. I'm thinking of also senses of decency and outrage. But I've learned to try to keep, and this is hard to do when you're a little bit hot-headed, right, Mark? If you can't keep your sense of humor, at least keep a sense of perspective. And that's what I try to do, because I've watched my dad actually remain remarkably calm and cool sometimes when things were really trying. So maybe that's something you learn with age, maybe that's something you learn with grace, but I'm going to keep working on it too. Thanks, Dad. And now, my brother.
To the man who taught me to hit a baseball, throw a football, and shoot a basketball. There went all my athletic scholarship. His idea of increasing your understanding. I see my brother Rudy over there. I know you've experienced this one. My father's idea of increasing your understanding is to increase the intensity and volume of his voice and body language, repeating the same thing that wasn't clear the first 2 or 3 times. What I'm talking about? I'm talking to you. To the man, you've already heard this, to the man who taught me and my friends the value of hard work, the rewards of toiling with the soil, the satisfaction of completing a job. For example, my father gave Kevin, myself, and his brother Keith the opportunity to hand weed 12 acres of asparagus for 3 days. And the only way to do that, there's really only 3 ways to hand weed asparagus. You either straddle it all the way down, was it 12 acres, 20 acres? Too many. You either straddle it, or you kind of go on your knees, or you lay on your side down the road. You get really intimate with the dirt and the dust. Big time. I think we came away from that experience thinking, I never want to work that hard again. I never want to eat that much dust again. And I never want to ever grow anything. To this day, I have not so much as owned a riding lawnmower. You know, my father, in our work outings, was always deeply concerned with our safety and well-being, such as riding on the back of a flatbed truck without side rails in the brisk March morning air, when we would respectfully express our concerns for our safety. Going up the Hartford Keeler Road at 90 miles an hour. We would respectfully express our concerns for our safety, and he would provide Solomon-like wisdom and instruct. Well, don't fall off then. When we would humbly appeal to his magnanimous heart about the cold and the rain, he would compassionately empathize and counsel. I'll drive fast, so it will be a shorter ride. Hold on! I'm not lying, am I? That's not an enhancement. Okay, for the sake of time, and because my psychological wounds have just recently healed, I'm only going to mention my learnings from the incident known as hand driving a well 2.5 times in 3 days. Or, I've subtitled this, How to Underestimate the Job and Demoralize Your Employees at the Same Time. This all started on a Saturday morning. So my first lesson learned, don't be within sight on a Saturday morning. These are secrets to my success in my business career here. If asked, what are you doing on said Saturday morning? Claim you are within hours of discovering a cure for cancer, solving Middle East peace, world hunger, or all the above. What are you doing? I'm doomed. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Here's a lesson. This is a hard one to learn, but sometimes logical and rational arguments don't work. Dad, I don't think we should. We're going to drive it down the outside of the cistern. The water's right there. We can drive right. We don't have to go down in the cistern. But Dad, I think we're going to drive it down. All right, that was the first 2 times. Or stated another way, you can lead a horse to water. You can shove his head under. You can kick him in the butt. But you cannot make him drink. But you will make him upset. I wish my farm brother Essel was here. Because misery does indeed love company. I learned if you don't succeed at first, try again, or at least 2.5 times to be exact. And last but not least, really the most important secret to my success, the boss is never wrong and everything is your fault. Sorry, Dad, it was a dumb idea. All right. So, Big Al. You get the nickname Big Al. You know, when sometimes I hear people would hear me reference my dad, Big Al, and they go, oh, is he a big guy? He's a big guy. I said, no, he's big in personality. He is an expert marksman. You have heard it. Who else is able to shoot off the tail off a buck?
Runs in the family, only 2 of us have done that.
It takes about 25 years.
Roger, you and Mick have something to live up to.
We can't, they don't have tails up there.
And Alan, you are doomed. All right. Dad, you are funny, as has already been shared. Sometimes for the wrong reasons, but funny nonetheless. And we've already heard it. Who here has heard Alan try to tell them a joke and either he forgot the punchline or he biffed the punchline? And then the horse went over the cliff. Where would the horse come from? Oh, wait a minute. That was a different joke. Scott, I agree with you. Integrity. You're authentic and honest. What you see is what you get at home or at church. And that was huge in our life, Dad. Spiritually, you were real, you were authentic. You're a leader. You served our church, farming organizations, and communities for decades. You were faithful. You're a faithful man, an example of staying the course, doing what needs to be done, and being faithful to your family and friends. You are strong. He is physically strong. Oh my word. He is. His hands and that, but you're physically strong in character too, Dad. He is hardworking. And I thank you for giving us an example of hard work. It has taught me a lot. And you know what though? He is hardworking, but he's able to enjoy the fruits of his labor too. You know, Dad, I really learned in you, we're not just in the information age, we're in the digital age. You can work 24/7. You can never get away from whatever industry you're in, right? Farming, and the thing with farming and agriculture, there is a seasonality. There's an ebb and flow. There is a time of cherry harvest that are 80-hour weeks, and it's hot and it's miserable, but it's going to be over. And this man showed me how to relax, how to step back, take that break before apples, take the break after apples. And in this age, that's hard to find Sabbath. And Dad, you showed me how to rest and relax, and I thank you for that. And last, I'm going to finish with a word from Scripture. God always says it best. Proverbs 17:6. Grandchildren are the crown of old men, and the glory of sons is their father. I am very thankful for you. I am very proud of you, and I love you very much. Yeah, when he's done, you finally get cake.
I don't deserve all the kind words and those kind of things. I am not a perfect person. By the grace of God and knowing my Savior, He has really changed me. I'm not the same man that started as a young man and had to learn, come to know the Lord, and then let Him work on me through my lifetime and many experiences I had. But God has been gracious to me, and the blessing has always been, and Larry will remember this for sure. The pastor I was saved under, Jim Walsh, told us as he was leaving this church, he said, you know, the best thing you can do in life is to raise your children to be better than you. And that really struck me, because I knew the kind of person I was, and it wasn't the kind of person I wanted my children or my grandchildren to be. And so God really began to work in my life. But as far as stories and the innuendos and those kind of, I do not recognize those people. I don't know where they came from. I've had major surgery. They couldn't be possibly talking about me. But I want to thank each and every one of you for coming, and so many of you, all of you, actually all of you, have been an influence in my life, and friends, and involved in different things, and family. And I am really blessed beyond all men. And so I thank you for coming, and I really appreciate you just being here tonight. So thank you, and God bless you.
Let's eat cake.
Let's eat cake. Let them eat cake. Oh, yeah. As soon as you get your cake, we got a video we're gonna run here, so. We'll run it a couple. Go ahead.
Oh, you just want to pull out the chair.
Hi, Dave, how you doing?